So we got the transfer case out, transmission out, the engine out. Today, I'll be pulling the front axle. I'm going to show how I do that. It might not be the right way, but it's a way. My engine cradle has a crack in it, so I'll also be pulling this motor mount. I got to fix, it's got like several cracks in it. So yeah, I had a really bad death wobble because that drop bracket was moving. I discovered it. I had my daughter, she was 9, come out here and turn the steering wheel back and forth for me after trying to chase down the death wobble. And I saw that moving each time she moved the tire left or right. So yeah, this will be my way. I will also note, Skyjacker 6-inch lift, longer radius arms. They rub with these. These are only 33, 12.5. The stock radius arms with drop down brackets didn't rub. So I'm not sure. I know what BDS, is that the other lift? I think it's them. Their arms have a little bit of a bend in them right there. Or if I'm just going to run wider rims, I don't mind sticking out a little more. And if you're watching this and you're tearing your front axle apart and you have one of these old Fords, I will apologize because you're probably not going to have as easy of a time as I am if you're in the Rust Belt like me. She isn't the prettiest and cleanest, but she's definitely for a Michigan truck pretty clean. And I've already had everything apart once within the last year. So everything I've done so far is the same as the other side. So might not. Yeah, I just wanted to show how, when I said mine might come off easier, that's what I mean. Mine came off real easy there. But yeah, this is live, obviously. I'm going to record taking that side apart. I was just doing this one, which I will note, if you do have a locker like me, a lunchbox locker, and you have a spring in between your shafts to keep it out, you're gonna have to get someone to pry your axle shaft in so you can get the spindle nut on. Otherwise you bottom out on this shaft. But if you have someone pry against that spring, compress it, you can do all that. All right, so the obvious, you're gonna start jacking your vehicle up. Or well, I guess you're gonna start with breaking your lug nuts free, jacking your vehicle up, and then removing your lug nuts, and then we'll continue on. With the tire off, we'll now, they're hex keys, Allen keys, whatever you want to call them. But there's 6 of them that hold this hub on. We'll be removing those. So you should have a C-clamp here. I don't know why I don't have one. It's not in that. So I'll have to get one for that. I don't think it matters too much. And then you got another ring on this outside. I can't quite, like you can see right there. So what you want to do is you'll find the end and then pry it up. And then I use this, just a old screwdriver I curled over so I can actually hook it better and pull it out. I'm going to see if I can't record this. Alright, we'll try. So first I'm going to spin it so you can see it here. like I said, I try to... Yep, I'm not going to be able to record it, but it's a bitch. But you can get it. Two-hand job. Alright, so I was able to hook it. And now I can just pull that right off of there. Like I said, it's a bitch. Toss that in there. Take one of these. Might need two of them. And then just wiggle that right out of there. Keep everything organized. And then you got your hub nuts there, spindle nuts, axle nuts, whatever you want to call them. We'll get the special tool for that. Just another random side thought, in case I don't explain it later and you are wondering why I'm putting it in this way, or it's out all in one piece. Because I got that Spartan lunchbox locker in the front, I don't have the clip on the end of that that's in the pig. So that's why I have, like I mentioned, that spring goes in here and pushes that out. So it pushes that into the pig so it stays sealed. So yeah, I normally, when you pull this axle shaft out, this is the only side that comes out. Okay, so that came off way too easy. I didn't have to use a breaker bar on this side. So I have to check into that. Pretty sure I torqued it down to, what is it, 180? Don't quote me on that yet. I'll look into that when I put this back together. But yeah, so you get this out of there, let it roll across the floor. Yeah, let that roll across the floor. Then there's got this lock in here, which I suck at trying to record and do this, but I got that little hook tool, and I can just back and forth, try to slowly wiggle this lock out, and I'll explain how it is a lock, how it locks once I get it out. But yeah, you see the gist of it. Maybe if I can record right, I hook it on this side and then just try to fling it out. If I had another hook, it'd be a lot easier. But we're there. So throw that in that box. This one should be easy to take off. Yes. Alright. Oh, switch hands here. Oh yeah, so I call that a lock. You see all the holes in it? Maybe not. Hold on. Alright, so you see that little nub on the inside? That locks on the spindle. And that groove right there on top, so it's notched out. So that locks, that little tab sits in that groove. Now, let me zoom out. Let me get grease all over my phone. Yeah. Fucking just spinning that out. It'll give me a long video of nothing but me fucking getting these spindles off. There's spindle nuts off. There we go. So I called a lock because that nub right there, yeah, make sure when you do these that that is out. You put that on, and then it has to line up to where that little nub will go into one of those holes. And then that nut that rolled away sandwiches it, and that holds it all together. But yeah. Next, you got your upper and lower pin. I'll start them with a hammer, and then I'll come in at an angle. You want to make sure you're catching the metal and not going inside, because what you can do is you can actually spread them apart even more, wedging them in there, wedging your screwdriver in there, or drive in and ruin the rubber. And I would check these. If these are old, just replace them, because after knocking them out, knocking them back in, that metal might separate from the rubber on the inside. So these are those pins. Like I said, they got the rubber in the middle. Got my caliper. I hang mine up. I just zip tie them right to there. Maybe a little bit stronger zip ties than what I got. Now when you take this off, that bearing's in there very loose. So you want to not set it down in grease, but yeah, set it down face up. That bearing in there will just fall right out. Next is the spindle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts, or nuts rather. Break those free, get those off. You might have to beat on this. There's several videos explaining how to do that. Dead blow, you know, right here, that's not going to cause any damage. Rubber mallet if it's not too terrible. Block of wood, beat on it. Try maybe air chisel right in there. Obviously a lot of penetrant. I just did my passenger side. I have the video in here. Not sure what order any of this is going in. But yeah, that will be probably a little bit harder for you than it is for me. So there's that spindle, whatever it's called. I call it a spindle. There's your dust shield. Your axle shaft will pull right out. You can see here, the passenger, like I said, had that clip. Driver's side doesn't. Pulls right out. You may have to shimmy it a little bit to get this knuckle through. Between, you know, rust buildup, whatever, on that surface and on this surface here. It's a, you know, bit of a wiggle and pull, but it'll come out. Next step, probably won't record after, but won't update after, but I will be removing this. I will be pulling the castle nut up just to flush, maybe a tad bit lower, and giving it a whack. I don't want to mess up my boot. I know I should use a pickle fork, but I had to use a pickle fork for the one off the pitman arm, and it ripped the boot like I knew it was gonna. So don't want to rip the boot. These are new. Next step I've done, already got the passenger side off, but taking these off. Yours might be up here if you got stock. I got the extended arm, so it's back here. Obviously had to torch it, so plan on having to buy new bushings. But after that, I mean, one-handed on a, I think it's an 18-inch breaker bar. That side was a bitch. It wasn't this easy. The next thing I tackle is the shock. Easy. You got nut and bolt there, and then the tops, you got the nut here, and then the top is usually not round, so you can get a wrench on there to hold it while you loosen the nut. Luckily, these are pretty new. I was able to just hold this and take the nut right off. It's got some dirt in it now, but yeah. Same thing with these. You might have to torch those to get them out. Yours may look different than mine. I have that groove because I have this style. If you look at the bolt, I'm laying down trying to do this, and this is all hot still. So it's got that keyway. So when this is in there, you see how that's got a lip there and there. So depending on how this is, you know, if you turn that like that, it puts the bolt at the bottom. If you do it like that, it puts the bolt at the top. And what that does is lower this so it'll actually adjust your camber a little bit on your tires. That's my setup. The new ones I'm going to have won't have that. It'll just have an upper hole and a lower hole. Alright, so with that out, the only thing holding this up now is this spring. By either this tab with that bolt, or down here with that retainer and the nut there. So I'm going to go ahead, take that out, and then this will be able to drop. That'll be able to slide forward out of there. Put the jack under to help support it so it doesn't just and fucking that way too. It's not going to ruin your threads when you take that out. And like I said, this is the last thing that was holding it all on. Still got the other side to do. Got that center pivot bushing. And then that. I got more to do still. I'm going to take actually the brackets off, like I said. Because I have, well, you might be able to see it now. Cracks in my engine cradle I gotta take care of because that's where my death wobble is coming from. So if anyone else has a death wobble that they cannot solve, that is it. And again, I found it by having my daughter hop in, turn the wheel left and right, and I looked at everything that was supposed to move and then looked at everything that was not supposed to move, and that mount was moving. I noticed this, you know, moving just a slight bit, but it was enough to make it go blah, 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 down the road. So I'm gonna upload this. If there's anything that I could explain better, feel free to comment. Hopefully I'll get to it. I'll try to get to it. If I see it, I'll get to it. If I don't see it, sorry. But yeah, let me know if anything you want to see better, I could touch up on. Like I said, I'll be uploading the motor. I'll upload putting this back in, whatever I can here and there. But yeah, if I need to work on anything, just let me know and I'll work on it so that way future videos are fucking